As we continue our series in the Psalms that relate to King David and lives in his event, this is one of those hide-and-seek songs in Psalms. In fact, we see one again next week in Psalm 57, where David is hiding from King Saul. It is amazing that he kept his faith during this whole time of hiding. You know, he is promised that he would be king. He was promised that he would live in a palace. He was promised that he would have the nation doing his bidding. And then he had to go live in a cave. And then he had to go be on the run. And then he had to go have someone, hunt for him, trying to kill him. And yet he kept his faith through that whole ordeal, that whole time. I think I have gone through times like that when I was wondering what God was doing and I couldn't see any future and I couldn't see any hope. And, God has promised us all these good things. And I'm going, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Okay, it's going to happen in heaven. Okay, maybe. And then all of a sudden, things turn out well. God works this way. He does allow us to go through times when we have to live in caves. We go through times when we have to find Him. It goes through times when it seems like God is hiding from us. And we have to go find Him. But really, I think it's the other way around. We are the ones that are hiding and God is seeking us. He's coming to look for us. He's always there, right behind us, looking wherever we are going. Doesn't that kid look like Barrick, by the way? I don't know, did you post his picture on the internet? Anyway, we are the ones that are hiding, and God comes to seek us. I don't know if you're familiar with John Giesbrecht, I think how you say his name. He was the one the archaeologist that did the original work on the lines in Chile called the Nazca lines. When we feel that God is hidden from us, we cannot see the big picture. And if there's a place on earth that demonstrates the big picture, it's the Nazca lines down in Chile. There is a huge desert down there. The biggest desert in the world is actually in northern Chile. And years ago, many years ago, the Nazcas cut lines into the desert. They're just lines. And for years they thought, what a strange deal. Why would they do this? Well, then with modern surveying techniques, they started surveying these things. And they realized that they made huge pictures in the ground that no one ever saw until John Giesbrecht comes along in 1930 with an airplane. And he takes it up in the air, and that's a giant monkey, I think. Either that or it's Michael. No? He takes an airplane up, and he's the first human being ever to see these things in their entirety. Because, really, all the Nazcas could see were lines in the ground. All that we can see are lines in the ground from the Earth's perspective. But when you go up in an airplane, you see that they make huge pictures. They made pictures of humans. They made pictures of animals. This is a huge picture of a spider, biggest spider on the planet. They made these huge pictures, but all you can see from the ground are these lines. When God is hiding from us, when we feel like God is hiding from us, and He asks us to go through tough situations, we have to continue to look at the big picture. When we get to heaven and see all the things that God is weaving together, we will see the designs that He has. We may not see them now, but we will see them then. I hope they won't look like a giant spider. In my case, maybe, probably. This story comes from 1 Samuel chapter 23 and then again in chapter 26 where we read about David hiding from Saul. Saul is trying to kill him. Saul is after his hide. He wants him dead. So he knows that David has been promised the kingship. He knows that David is going to take his place, and he wants to stop that at any cost that he can. And so he's hunting for David's life. He is seeking my life. He wants to kill me. Now, our problems are probably not that difficult, not that severe. I don't know if any of you have, a bounty out on them. Nobody of you have, a price on your head, at least not that I know of. We may have to wait for the future to find that all to shake out. But really, David had a price on his head, and David was seeking his life, and he prays to God. This is kind of a strange song. In fact, all the songs are kind of strange, but they follow some patterns and then they break the patterns. This follows the pattern of a prayer psalm, of the psalmist coming to the Lord and petitioning God for a blessing. But this example is strange because it doesn't start out with the reason, it starts off with the request. Now, if you read through the other prayer psalms, you'll see that most of them, in fact, almost all of them, begin with the reasons why God should answer the request. This one doesn't. It starts right off saying, God, you need to act and to hear. Instead of, you need to hear and to act. That would be more logical. But David here isn't being terribly logical. We would expect to read the verse this way. Strangers are attacking me. Ruthless men seek my life. Men without regard for God. Hear my prayer. Listen to my words. Save me. That would be the logical order. But we have this order. Save me, and then hear, and then the reason why. And it seems to me that this song is a song of panic. He doesn't start off logic. Well, here's logic. Here's logic. No, he doesn't start off with logic. He doesn't approach it this way. He's not Mr. Spock at this point. He's Captain Kirk, who's just going to blow up and go off of what he's going to do. This is the panic kind of mode. David doesn't start off logically. He doesn't start off with, listen to me, O God. These are the reasons why I think you ought to act, and please act on my behalf. He's going, God, you need to help me now. And then later on he gets to the reasons. How many times is that how we behave? We get into trouble and we want God to act now. It's not a logical thing. We're not thinking coherently at that point. We need help. And frankly, that's the way we want it to be. We want God to come and help us now. We have reasons, yes. And reasons that we hope that God feels are good reasons, why he should be involved in our life and why he should come and act on our behalf. But really, we want God to come and rescue us now. It's not an act of logic, and neither is this song. We need God to determine that our enemies are acting wrong and then to act accordingly. God is a just God. And you may not always be right. You may be praying for something that you should not be